Morning, Trainiacs. It is an epic ride day. 6 hours in the saddle, carb fasted. These are like super critical training sessions to do if you're training for an Ironman. So critical that this entire week of training has been completely designed around just this one session. And there are specific ways to do it. We're going to go through all that today. I'm procrastinating from doing it. Alright, so if you're training for an Ironman, obviously one of the most important things that you got to do is have great morning hair. But the second most important thing that you've got to do is build the endurance to be able to go for the entire day. You might be out there for 9, 10, 17 hours. Now, does that mean that you should train in a day for 17 hours? No. What you can do, and this is the critical thing that you need to do, is do some of these epic long ride days. And that means building your way up by 10% each week until you can do one of these 5.5, 6 hour rides, and ideally doing 3 or 4 of these in the 6 months before your race. Now, in our book, Triathlon, bikefoundations.com, we've got a calculator and we've got the whole way that you need to end up like building up 10% each week, resting a little bit each week. How far do you need to go? Even for sprint, Olympic, half Ironman, Ironman distance athletes, like how far do you actually need to build up? That's all in that book there. So you can go get that if you want to understand why you do this. But if you really want to get a lot out of this, one of the big reasons that we do this epic ride is because we want to increase our body's ability to utilize fat as fuel. And by doing this without carbs before, without carbs during, you can end up increasing your body's ability to burn fat immensely without worrying about being this huge keto fat burning machine and making a huge lifestyle change. So I'm going to take you through what I do before the ride, and then after the ride, let's hope that I complete it, I'll take you through what I took during the ride. All right, so for breakfast in the morning, calories still stay high. Some people do this entirely fasted. I'm not super convinced that entirely fasted is better than just carb fasted. And there are some negative consequences to being entirely fasted, like being really hungry afterwards, which for me is very difficult. So I don't want to risk that. So in my case, what I have is just a coffee, which then I mix with a tablespoon of MCT oil. I'm not affiliated with Bulletproof at all. It's just what I've got right now. I've used all kinds of MCT oil, and I like actually MCT oil powder. A little bit easier on the gut, but I'll put in some of that. I will use ghee. This is a clarified butter, and I like this better than regular butter because, again, this is a little bit better for the gut. It increases the butyrate in your system, which helps manage the hunger. So you're a little bit less hungry during the day. I will also then use bone broth protein. This bone broth protein by Ancient Nutrition, this is my favorite protein. If, hint, hint, I was ever to create a nutrition company of my own, I would probably use bone broth as the base of the protein because it ends up being so much better on the gut. And us endurance athletes tend to have a lot of gut problems because we spend so much time without a lot of blood in our stomach. So I'll put in a little bit of that, which ends up sparing all the muscle. So you're less likely to have muscle breakdown by having some protein in the fat coffee. And then just to settle the stomach, I will end up having just a little bit of nut butter. Really no nut butter that I do like, but peanut butter has a little bit more protein than a lot of the other versions of nut butter, almond butter, or particularly cashew butter. So a little bit more protein, a little bit less carbs, and I'll have some of that just to settle the stomach. So a couple spoonfuls of that, coffee with these, get all of this in me, get the bike ready, and then we ride. procrastinating again.
Bright flashing by the street lights. Keep waiting till you've arrived. Let it unfold. Let it unfold. Give me a reason to feel right. I keep waiting for the morning light.
5 hours in. No more riding partner. Totally gone. Had to drop him off at home around 4:20 in. Last, nutrition stop. Low carb, no carb. That's how I look so youthful. This.
All right, we are back. 6 hours done, lots and lots of hills. So it was only like 144 kilometers. We were talking 86 miles or so. And that actually felt really good. Really, very, quite good. Last time I did this, I don't think I was quite as well fat adapted. And also it was 6 hours indoors on the trainer. But this, 6 hours outside with 4.5 hours of PALs, way better. Okay, let me go through all of the things that I took on that ride. It's quite simple. All right, first thing that I had for electrolytes and a little bit of fluids was S-Fuels, and this is their Taren. So the S-Fuels Taren is low carb, little bit of protein, little bit of fat, all the electrolytes that you need in the right sodium to potassium ratio. But the unfortunate thing about S-Fuels is that they don't yet have single serving packages to put in my jersey. So for that, I used the You Can Hydrate electrolyte sticks, because these I could put in my jersey and it's single servings at a time. And while the S-Fuels has a little bit of calories, this is just straight up electrolytes, no added sugar. Whereas a lot of, say, Scratch, Osmo, even SOS, it has sugar that, yes, it does help you absorb and takes less fluids to absorb the fluid. But this, you still absorb some fluids, just a little bit less, but you get the electrolytes in it. So it just means that you've got to drink a little bit more and you don't get any added sugar. I started with these Justin's peanut butter packs, and I went with peanut butter for the same reason that I had the peanut butter before, a little bit more protein, less carbs, but I'm not huge on these Justin's. The reason that I had these is because they're basically kind of like a backup. If you don't really have any other option, these Justin's packs are okay, but they've got some palm oil in them and too much nut butter. It creates a little bit of inflammation, and especially peanut butter. It's got a high mold toxin level, so I use this in a pinch if I have to. What I really like that actually arrived as I was out riding is this. S-Fuels Endurance Bar. These are really, really good, really natural ingredients in this. You can actually make these S-Fuels bars on your own at home if you really wanted to, but I like them. So they showed up while I was gone. We stopped here at about 4 hours, 25 minutes in. I picked up a bar, and that was what I had for my very last 5 hour feed. So that's it, Trainiacs. Part of your job as a triathlete isn't just building up the endurance, the ability to cover the distance. If you want to be successful at it, you have to be able to fuel yourself. And that means taking in the fluids, the calories that you need, but those, no matter how much you take in, no matter how much you train your gut, you cannot take in enough food to satisfy going out for a 10-hour Ironman, a 14-hour Ironman. The math just doesn't work out. You have to make up for the difference by being able to access fat. And having these longer sessions, these 6-hour sessions where you are carb fasted, it forces your body to use fat as fuel, and it'll allow you to make up the difference. So with that said, I actually feel pretty good. Very nice to have pals out there and not do that on the trainer. I will link to 2 videos here and here that if you want to learn more about fat adaptation and why you should do it, and it's not about being this fat burning machine or being keto or having avocados stuffed in the back of your race bib, you can go check out those 2 videos. And if you've maybe seen them and you just want to learn more about what my coach, Dr. Dan Plews, one of the most published guys in the world on low carb adaptation, and he himself won Ironman Kona being a low carb athlete, you can go to triathlontaren.com/theplews, put in your email address, and for free, get the starter pack for how you start doing this. Because you don't just go from 0 to 6 hours. I'm gonna go eat the house down now. Later, Trainiacs.